What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's time for the roster update predictions for the May 28th update coming out. Roster update number 3 on the season. The first two have been pretty good. First one was a banger, of course, because we had so much time into the season already. There was a lot to be done. Second one was still pretty good for being a 2-weeker, and now we're going to be on 2-weekers the rest of the way, which, you know, the samples don't necessarily explode off the page for a ton of guys. But there are standouts for sure. There's plenty of guys to get upgraded. I got 104 on my overall list. You can find that in my Discord if you're a subscriber to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/spore. But I'm going to share 45 of those names with y'all today, and we're just going to get started because we do have a lot to cover. Let's start with a couple diamonds that are going to be moving up within their diamond tier, which means if you were dragging your feet on finishing that collection, might be time to go ahead and pick up that card. Or if you're a Richie Rich, maybe you jump in, and if they go over 90, maybe they start to see their price increase. Now that's not a surefire hit necessarily, but it can drive the price up when they hit that second tier there. And the first one we're going to talk about is Nolan Arenado. I remember there was some expectation of an upgrade last time out, or like a big upgrade. I think he got a small one, and people were like, oh, you know, he got done dirty. And I didn't quite see it that way. I thought, you know, it's whatever. But now he's set himself up to get a substantial upgrade. He's absolutely crushing the ball. He's really settled in to St. Louis, and I don't want to call it too early, but if you didn't think Nolan Arenado was going to be able to hack it outside of Colorado, you don't really. That's just the straightforward way to put it. Obviously, leaving Colorado is always a negative for your home games, right? That's the best place to play that the game has ever seen, okay? I'm not saying that. But when you factor everything that goes with playing in Colorado, you take a superstar talent like Nolan Arenado, you really shouldn't have him falling off too much leaving to another place, because there's also the Coors hangover effect on the road, which he's now not going to deal with. So yeah, his home numbers are going to go down, but his road numbers should go up substantially to cancel that out. At any rate, we've seen Nolan Arenado just playing very well, a lot like the Nolan Arenado that we're used to, and we have seen that home road situation play out. He's at an 830 OPS at home, which is fine, but certainly not what he was putting up in Colorado. But he's at 915 on the road, substantially better than what we saw when he was a Rocky. So he's going to go up, I think, a good 2-3 points, 91, 92 level. And then the other one I have going up actually was one of two. Let me see which one. Oh, actually one of 4 others, or 4 total. I ended up picking old B Woody, Brandon Woodruff. Where are the 85s at? Brandon Woodruff, recent diamond, but I think he's already due for another upgrade. And so if you were hanging on, I know some people when he went to diamond, they just held their shares, wanting to see if he would go up, because some of the other guys did. Well, Buxton and Trey Turner are a hell of a lot different going diamond than somebody like Brandon Woodruff. People just don't use live series diamond starters. Trey Turner and Byron Buxton can still be in people's lineups right now, and like, it's fine. Like, if you're good enough with them, you're not really behind the curve by having those guys in there. So that's why their price went up. They were made better. With Brandon Woodruff, he has not seen a spike. And going up to 86, 87, I don't know will necessarily spike his price up a ton, but it should start to move it up to where I think it's eventually going to land, which is probably somewhere in like the 7,000 range. So if you can still be patient and you want to see if you can get more than the quick sell price from him, then go ahead. Otherwise, you can move on, because I don't really see it going up to 10, 12, anything beyond that. You're not getting into the 5 digits, in my opinion. Now, a couple new diamonds in the starting pitching realm. We'll start with his teammate. And again, these aren't going to knock your socks off because the market's already there on them. But I still got to talk about them for folks that maybe aren't fully in the know. Corbin Burnes is going to get it. And apparently my dog's going to come up here because she's begging. She keeps trying to climb up. And so we're going to let Shar into the video. Shar, do you want to talk about Corbin Burnes? No, go to sharinvestments.com. It's the best website ever. I do investments for $40 a day. that seems really expensive, but if you guys want to pay $40 a day to get my dog's tips, by all means. Corbin Burns definitely going to go, though. The only thing that's held him back was COVID, right? I mean, I'm sorry. Undisclosed reason, which I can't figure that out. So if you guys can crack that code, I don't know if we can get Benedict Cumberbatch to figure that out. If anyone can crack that code of undisclosed illness, help me out, because like that is an escape room on 11. It's very difficult to figure out. I have no idea what happened. But anyway, that's the only thing that's really derailed him, and it didn't even derail him. He's right back on track. He's like kind of a predestined diamond at this point. I was surprised he started so low coming into the year, given how well he pitched last year. And even though last year was a small sample, it was clear that he had hit a new level. And so we could really see him bounce up. He could get to 90 this year. I think he could get to 90 by the end of the year. And then, by the end of the year, he still wouldn't really be usable as a 90, especially with all the diamond starters that we're going to get to come out. But if anyone's going to maintain some usefulness as a live series starter, it's going to be Corbin Burns. And then another one that was borderline. I was going to come with bad news if he didn't pitch well last night, but Lance Lynn came through and really pitched his ass off. He was right there on the cusp. I was thinking we were going to have to wait another 2 weeks, knowing that he had a start last night, but I did the first run of the list Monday afternoon. He goes out, he deals. I think it's a lock now. Lance Lynn back to diamond. Then we go into some gold to gold range here. This is obviously setting up the next diamonds, especially these first handful of guys. Bunch of 84s here that I think are really intriguing. Let's go out to Oakland and talk about what they've got going on. They've got some really good players. The dynamics of their team could look a lot different as far as like their collection for somebody who, maybe for whatever reason they didn't get the game until September. They could have to collect like 3 diamonds for Oakland when we didn't even have to we had to get Chapman. He was the only one. So they could have 3 or 4 by the end, with Ramon Laureano looking like one in the near future if he continues to play well. Now, he does need to work on this platoon split because he is playing to the platoon split that you see here. So I've only got him going to 84. He's going to get a little love, but to get to that 85, he needs to start hitting against righties. So that's something clear that you can look for, right? You see that he hit a home run, go right to the pitching on the other team. Was it a righty or a lefty? And figure that out. We need to see some righty destruction, and we can get Laureano to diamond. And that could be pretty fun because, we see what his defense is. You throw in some diamond capabilities at the dish. Might be something to use at least in like Battle Royale or something. If not, probably not your lineup pretty soon. We're getting to the point where there's enough outfielders that you shouldn't be having to use anybody like Laureano as an 85, 86. But I still want to see him go diamond because he's a very cheap investment right now, as you can see. I also think his teammate Matt Olson is definitely one to keep a close eye on. He's even cheaper right now. He's killing it. And a big difference for him this year is that batting average has come back in full force. This was a guy, he's got a prototypical power profile in terms of he can strike out a good bit. He goes for the fences. He's got, just raw, excellent power. But for most of his career, he's also had a pretty solid batting average for it. Like, he's not Miguel Sano selling out for the power and hitting sub 200 type guy. Well, he did that last year, but it was a 2-month season, and all the underlying indicators said that this was not something to be worried about. He's going to get back to where we've seen him be, which he had a 267 in 2019, 247 in 2018, which is 247 isn't great, but again, it's not Sano, Joey Gallo level, and those extra 30, 40 points make a difference. So yeah, he had a 195 last year. He's at 261 this year. Now, he's similar to Laureano in that you can look for one particular thing as far as his damage goes that can really drive us getting him to diamond, and that is his production against left-handers. Now, he's doing fine this year. He's at 840 OPS. That's mostly due to the power that he's been getting. So I think he's going to get a power gain against lefties to go to an 84, maybe a little contact love against righties, and perhaps push that power versus righties up over 100. So a little bit of love here this week to get to 84 and then set up that potential 85. And again, that could come from base hits against either side really, but especially if he could start hitting like 260, 270 against lefties, that would be huge. He's hitting 238 right now, so he's right there. Great hitter, though. I think he's got a great shot at diamond this year. Let's move over to a guy that I've been blabbing about for a while now, dating back to last year, actually. I feel like, and I've been really talking about him this year as somebody who I think they have sold short, and it's Giovanni Gallegos. And I think it's going to be a situation where I think he's going to get to diamond this year. I really do. I think he started a little short. I think he should already be like an 83, 84, but that's all right. We're going to get here now, Memorial Day weekend, setting up a June to All-Star break area, a late June to early July, which is the All-Star break area, diamond for Gallegos if he continues to pitch like this. So I got him 2 points up to an 84. You see what plus 11s would do right now. That'd put him to an 87. That's obviously a lot. I'm not suggesting that he's going to get that, but we're not that far off from this. And the strikeouts are what can get some love right now with his 10.2 rate. He doesn't walk guys. He doesn't give up hits. You see the hit 9 is already great at 104. I'm not expecting that to necessarily go up, although his hit rate is down again this year, a whole hit from 5.4 to 4.3. So maybe sprinkle a little on it. But really the strikeouts and walks are what I'm looking at. I think both of those are ready to be in the 80s right now and set Gallegos up to be a potential diamond in the near future. Let's go out to LA and talk about an Olsen-like player I almost said Walker Buehler because I was scrolling over him, in Max Muncy. He's not quite as good of a bet to be a potential batting average guy as Olsen. He fits more of a prototypical power guy with the big walk rate, the mediocre to bad average. But again, not somebody that you expect to see hitting Sano Gallo type levels. He can usually live around the 240s, 250s, and then hits 192 last year. Same scenario, though, where you look under the hood and you felt really comfortable that this was not a new level, but rather kind of a 2-month blip for him. Then he goes out and destroys it in the playoffs, and you probably got a little confidence from that if you were a Muncy believer. Flash forward to this year, and he has changed his game in one specific way that really brings diamond into the picture this year. He's hitting 292. Like I said, I've been on record trying to say, like, oh, Max Muncy could give you a 250, 260. Don't get hung up on this 194. No chance that I see 292. He's got a 348 BABIP, which is definitely very high, but not obscene either. It's not some 480 that guys have sometimes early in the year that is just totally fluking their batting average, because he smacks the piss out of the ball too. And so I see some power gains against both sides, and then big average coming to both sides as well. So even if the power gains are kind of small, especially against lefties, I don't think it's necessarily going to go up that much, if at all, to be honest, because he has a 204 ISO, which is fine. And an 86 is about good for that. Oh, damn, I almost got the fly. He has a 280 against righties, though, so I think that could push up to the high 90s, low 100s. But the 300 average against righties and the 273 against lefties, that's where he's going to get a big gain. I think it's going to set him up for an 84, and if this average is real, then Muncy will be a diamond before the All-Star break. And by real, I don't even mean necessarily keeping in 292. But if he's hitting like 275 by the break, I think that's going to be enough to kind of push him over the hump. All right, next one is a guy who just keeps making it more likely that he's actually going to get the 4 points. And it is, of course, Vlad. I have him for 3 points right now to an 84, but he had another freaking homer today, and I'm just like, okay, maybe he is going to get it. But the one thing that's giving me a little bit of pause is you see here that he has plus 11s, and that only gets him to 83, and plus 11s is pretty substantial. So I do think he's going to get the core 4 updated, both contact and both power metrics, and I do think he's going to at least get to 84. Here's what could change it and give him diamond, and I think that they might do this, and they've been waiting to do it until he was like ready for diamond. It's the position change. If they move him to first base, there's no way that he's not diamond. And frankly, he should be at first base. And I wonder if they were just like, well, if we do that, then he's going to be diamond in like 5 seconds. So I wonder if they're just waiting and he's going to blow past 85 and be like an 87 first baseman diamond, after this week. So obviously, there's not a ton to invest in here at this point. There was ample opportunity. Ample opportunity though. So if you're not in on Vlad, that's kind of on you, right? That's kind of on you. I'm not trying to insult people. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying. There is one other thing though. I mean, you can still get a G if you put in some buy orders right now. If you're really, because he's going to go diamond at some point. Like, feel really, 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 really strongly about that. But if you subscribe to this notion that he could go to first base, he's like an 87 or an 88. He gets core 4 updates. Then people start using him as like a bench bat in seasons. Then his price could go well beyond 5K. So maybe there is meat on the bone if you think he can actually surpass. Now, the other side of that is supply. Simple fact is, I mean, he started as a silver. So that's a lot of stock, across the game out there on Vlad. So I think that's going to make it difficult for him to necessarily spike too much. But I definitely think it's open that he could. Worst case, of course, if you do invest hoping to do that, especially at this point when it's 3,900, worst case is you cash out your 1,000 per, and there's really no harm there. But there is some maybe potential for him to at least go to 8, 9K if he does indeed spike really big. I'm just checking myself. He did start as a silver, right? A 78, if I'm not crazy. And as my Twitch chat is mentioning, he does have the Player of the Month card as well. So that also cancels out that, or at least mitigates that potential for what I'm saying here. So that's a great call out. So yeah, I mean, you can guarantee profit still right now. It's not a ton, but like he's going diamond. Like it's a no-duh. It's a no-duh situation. Anyway, we don't need to belabor this one because this one feels like one of the more obvious ones. Let's stick with his teammate here, Teoscar Hernandez. And I'll tell you what, this is a free roll right now, y'all. Now, I don't know if he's going to get to diamond this year. I was actually pretty concerned about him in general based on last year. His core skills weren't really different, particularly his strikeouts and walks. He was still striking out a ton, not walking. And really, if you were honest about what we saw last year, it looked like a Teoscar hot streak because it was only 2 months as opposed to a brand new player. He can beat the piss out of the ball, and when he's on, he is a very, very, very dangerous hitter. So I was a little concerned about him this year because I was like, well, until he starts cutting the strikeouts, we still have that problem on our hands that's going to breed some volatility with Teoscar. He said, you know what? Note taken. He cut his strikeout rate down to 22% so far this year, which is fantastic for a power hitter like him. It has completely revolutionized what he's able to do. He's hitting 322, 374, 529, totally making me look stupid. Tell you what, I'm glad to be wrong on that one because he's a player I love to root for. I just had concerns about his strikeout rate. That has now changed. Concern alleviated, at least in the near term. He does have a 376 BABIP. That will come down even as somebody who hits the ball hard and has a little bit of speed. Like he's not a burner or anything, but he's not super slow. With those factors, you can run a higher BABIP, but I still think 376 is a little too high for Teoscar. But I tell you what, he could get to diamond this year if he's holding this batting average, up above 280 with the power that we know he can do. So it's a free roll, like I said. And what I mean by that is you invest at right around 1,000 or even just over. Okay, who cares? You do 1,100. You're still only risking 100 stubs per. It's essentially a free roll. And the thing of it is, he's definitely going to get upgraded this week. Like I don't know how he wouldn't. So he might start trickling above 1,000. And so then you've already made stubs there. And then you just hang on, see where he goes. And if we can get to diamond this year, it's a longer term thing because he needs 2 updates and he needs to show that this average is real. But I love Teoscar, man. And I think this is definitely a fun free roll to get in on. Let's stay in his division real quick. Bounce over to another super exciting player who's also a free roll. And basically, I'll just reiterate everything I just said because it's very similar. They're actually kind of similar players. My dog's freaking out over this fly that's in here. I wish she could just eat it out of the air. If I could just like hold her and like lunge her forward like a bug zapper to eat the fly. Hopefully she can get it. But yeah, Rosarena and Teoscar have a similar player profile, really. I think Rosarena is a bit faster, maybe on the raw speed, but same type of deal. They have crazy good power. When their strikeout rates are in check, they're incredible. Rosarenas has improved this year from what it was last year, 27%. That's fine for the power and eye that he has. And he's hitting 277, so his average is not great. And you know, he hit 281 last year. He's a 280 career guy. If he can push that up a little bit, I think there's still some room if he continues to hit 280 to bump up from where we're at right now. But to really get him to diamond, I think he would need to improve that average. So again, long term, but it's a free roll. I think he gets a little boost this week up to an 83, and we'll see where we go from there. This one's very early in the process, but you guys know I love my boy Jake Cronenworth. Another free roll here. Got him getting 2 points up to an 82. Again, we're a long way out on this one, and it's going to take some big things. You know, like a pretty prolonged streak that would include some pretty premium power, because that's obviously where he can develop the most. That and contact against lefties. And, you know, he delivers some power. He has 5 homers this year. He has 9 in his 397 plate appearances with a 173 ISO. That's not too bad. But if he's really going to make moves, then he has to tap into a little bit of a second level power that he does have. He has better raw power than he does game power. So, you know, sometimes they call that 5 o'clock power. Batting practice, they're crushing. Tons of people do. Can you translate that into game power? And, you know, we've seen a bit of it. If he can take it up to that next level, we could be talking Cronenworth Diamond at some point. But for now, you're setting your sights on like 83, 84, watching his price go up to like 3K, and then we make money that way. But if things continue to escalate, then we start talking about him as a diamond down the line. All right, now we want to talk some new golds. And again, the gold market, little wash this week, a little dried out, I should say, because a lot of them are the obvious ones. You know, Adam Frazier, everybody's in on him right now. He's been on the cusp. We've been talking about him for a few weeks. It's too late to get in now, but he's going to go, I think, this week. They're going to give Pittsburgh a gold. Tell you what, though, what you can really do is the old college lefty trick. That's who I learned it from, so I always give him the credit on it. But what you do is you place a bunch of orders under 1,000, wherever you want, within reason, and you say you do like 400. Just do a bunch at 400. Because there's so much Frazier stock out there, when he hits gold, there's just going to be tons sold. It's going to get to a point where the sell now is under 1,000, and tons of people will fill those orders because they just don't know any better. So it's like, I mean, I guess you're kind of taking advantage of something like that, or not kind of, you are, but like, it's just, it's there to do it. People want to sell it at that price. Who cares, you know? And then you'll see that it can get pretty crazy. Who was it that we looked at yesterday that was at 42 stubs? Chad, if you can remember who that was. It was somebody who recently went gold. Or no. They went, was it gold? It was gold. It was Matt Barnes. That's who it was. He went gold, and he was at 42 stubs. See, he's at 0 right now. So his entire thing sold out. So all the orders that were left in there, no matter how cheap they were, I bet you there were. So he started as a silver, right? He didn't start at bronze. So what's the cheapest you can put for a silver? No, I guess if there was 42s in there, was he a bronze? Did he go bronze to gold that quickly? Maybe he did. Jeez. At any rate, this happens all the time. And you will see guys get these orders filled, and it's a great little way to make, especially when you missed on somebody. like Adam Frazier. He did start bronze, yeah, because that's, or else he couldn't have had a 42 stub order. So thank you, chat. Twitch.tv/sport if you're watching this on YouTube. Stream this every week, or every other week rather, when we do it. Who am I looking for? Jesus Aguilar, you guys said is under right now? Oh, he was under. But yeah, so somebody will fill this 1,000 order, and then the next one will be a 122. And it's an easy way to make some stubs. And the worst case is it doesn't get down there and you just move on. Like, yeah, I had something on Corbin Burns when he went gold, but then it was like, oh God, he's been so good that obviously everyone's right on him to go diamond. So I just deleted him. They were at 369. I just said, okay, no big deal, move on. But yeah, definitely something that you can definitely get in on. And I do think Adam Frazier is going to be ripe for that because people are sitting on just a shit ton of Fraziers. So I think his right-hand column will damn near sell out the way Barnes's did. Anyway, moving on. Next up, can you believe he threw a no-hitter this year? Oh my gosh, nobody's doing that. Kubat, definitely going to go. There's actually still a little meat on the bone here at 717. I expected him to be higher. Yo, if I could just jab my monitor, the fly is right here. I really don't want to hit my monitor like that, though. You're taunting me. I'm recording myself losing my mind. For the world to see. This fly is killing me, y'all. I hate it. Anyway, Kubat, actually, like I said, a little bit better than I thought. But I do think he is going to go, so I'm surprised that the market hasn't really pushed him super up there. Did he have a recent start? Everything I saw, I thought pretty easy that he's going to get back there. I mean, not just the no-no. Like, he's been good. I mean, he has a sub-3 ERA, and he has skills that are earning it, too. No, he hasn't thrown since the no-hitter. Did he throw today? Chat? Oh, he's hurt? Okay, well, that won't affect... Oh, yeah, he threw... That's right. That won't affect his upgrade, though, guys. An injury will only obviously affect what you can do in the future because you're not playing. I know that's stating the obvious. But if you've put up the production, they're not going to not give you your upgrade for any reason. And I don't think 3 innings, 2 runs on 2 hits and 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, that's not going to hurt him. So he's still going to go gold. Maybe that's why he went down. I think that's a buying opportunity because I think he's damn near surefire, and that's almost guaranteed 300 stubs. So I just think I don't know why he wouldn't. I'm trying to. Yeah, the hit 9 is just way too low. I think that alone should get him there. So hopefully he's not out too long. That sucks. I didn't know that he got hurt. Damn. All right, next up. Oh, this one. Man, he's had an interesting season. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Eduardo. Oh, wow. Okay, so there is a little juice. A little more juice than I thought. Again, this one feels pretty strong. I know he just got his Tops Now diamond, but again, that doesn't affect this. They're not gonna not upgrade someone because they're giving them a Tops Now. Those two things are not linked. Plus, when you get a Tops Now, you're probably doing something to deserve getting upgraded. And I would say Escobar is definitely doing that. So he's had a weird season, though. And I'm pulling up his game log real quick to kind of go over it because it's been wild. So he gets out of the gate absolutely on fire. And he has 6 homers in the first 14 games. It's like, what? How does Eduardo Escobar already have 6 homers? Well, then he goes ice freaking cold. Hang on, let me pick up. Oh, no, it was his 7 homers through 16 games. Pardon me. 7 homers, 1099 OPS, okay? He's just killing it. Then he hits this low, and I know this because I'm invested in his card. For the next 17 games, he has a 382 OPS. Just like the complete opposite of what he had done. Boom, 3 for 5 with a 2-homer game, sets him on another big streak. He's got a 342 average and a 1079 with 5 homers in his last 9 games, all of which are part of this update. There are 3 offers on top of that, May 12th, 13th, and 14th, that also count for this. But I think the power is enough to get us the 1 point that we need, even if there's a little bit of downgrading on some of the batting average, because he is hitting 209 now against righties, but 295 against lefties. So I think it'll counterbalance. He'll go down to like 38 contact against righties, but go up to like a 72 contact against lefties, and then power gains against both, especially against lefties, and boom, he's there. And he's pretty freaking cheap. So I'm going to buy a few off the top just because I can't put in buy orders right now. Usually I say put in the orders, but the price is going to be different by the time this is over because y'all are going to go in there and buy a bunch. So I'll just get a few extras. But yeah, I think Eduardo is pretty much surefire. Let's see who is next. Oh yeah, this one. I think he's at like 1,400 right now, which you should not have any shares left if he... Yeah. Okay, he's come down. But I think he was at 1,400 earlier today. You can see, a couple days. You should have been selling all yours. Like, what do you need him for? It's higher than... I don't think he's really going to go up much as a gold. I know he's really insane to the point where he's like a legit bench bat, especially against righties. And then if he has an inside edge against lefties to balance him out. Actually, he's almost better like this with the crazy inside edge against righties. And then just... This is one of my biggest regrets of missing the silver event, was not being able to pump his numbers up for Battle Royale. But anyway, he's going. You know, his split was really hurting him. And it was just obvious, like, they have to be true to what he's doing. And so he didn't get the upgrade last time. A lot of people were pissed, and it's like, it really checks out when you look at the numbers. Plus, he's not a very good defender. He doesn't have any speed. So the ancillary skills aren't helping him. It all comes down to his hitting. And he said, you know what? Fuck that. And just started dominating righties so badly that I think he's going to blunt force his way into an 80. But also hit a big homer against lefties. So maybe he can get another little boost against lefties there to get him that final step, get into it. I could see him going 81, to be honest. I usually don't worry about trying to like nail where the silver goes, whether it's 80 or 81 or even sometimes 82. I'm just, concerned about them going gold. But between the ones we've talked about so far, Frazier, Kluber, Escobar, and Winker, I think Winker can go 81, while the others are probably flat 80s. Another outfielder who I think the market is pretty set on. I know he's cooled down a little bit, but I still think Haniger's got enough to get there. He's kind of like Escobar, though. And there's actually a little something, little bit in there if you want to get in and try to invest. Let me pull up something on his numbers here. My site is failing me. And this fly is sitting right here on my light, taunting me, y'all. You know what? I'm going to interview the fly for my next podcast. I think it's only fair to get his side of the story before I murder him. But I'll murder you, or my dog will eat you. She'd probably get beat up by the fly if we're being honest. Hang on, I'm pulling up his numbers. I had it, then my site crashed there, so pardon me. So since the last update, okay, that's why people are worried, because he is hitting 125 against lefties. Since the last update. I'll see what it is for the season. But despite hitting 125, he still has an 864 OPS against lefties because of his OBP and slugging. And I say slugging, he has one hit and it was a home run. It's really because he has 3 walks in the 11 plate appearances. It's also 11 plate appearances, so I don't think it's really going to hurt him or help him all that much anyway. The focus is going to be the 270, 341, 568 against righties. I think the power needs to come up. Now let's take a look at him holistically on the season here for Mitch Haniger, and we see a 911 OPS against lefties with a 615 slug driving that. That's a lot of power. So I think power against lefties needs to go up. Then he has an 860 OPS against righties, still with pretty good power. Looks like he's just shy Yeah, just under, it's 267 slug against righties. That's still very good. So I think both power numbers need to get into the 80s. As far as the contact goes, we might get a little something against righties, but it might be offset by a dip against lefties. I got to be honest. I'm a little nervous on this one now. I'm going to tell you why too. It's the inside edge. Seeing that he needs that much. Now, you spread that out over the 4 categories, it's a little different, but I don't think we're getting any real contact boosts. So I guess it kind of depends on what they do to his power. And I think I understand why maybe folks are a little bit more tepid on this one. I'm still in, and I'm in big. I'm in even if he doesn't get it this time, because I think he's healthy and playing great. So I'll buy the dip. But I am a little bit more tepid on this. I think I'm going to drop this to a 79.5, which just means it's more of a coin toss. It's not really that different. It's just kind of a way to rank the gold potentials a little more and push a guy down a little bit to where I'm like, I could still definitely see it, but I've planted a seed of doubt, and it's come from the fact that these plus 13s barely get him there. Actually, I say barely. We don't know. That is, I'm thinking about that a little bit deeper right now on the fly here. I'm like, that doesn't mean that it took all 13 of those points, right? He could be at like 80.45 right now, like right before he would push over to an 81. Actually, I don't know if it works like that if they do the half digits. So he could be an 80.9 right now. That's making me reconsider. You know what? I'm sticking to my guns. He's gold, not 79.5. Cancel that. I'm fully there. I think the power gets it there, because I think both powers are going into the mid 80s, and I think that's going to be enough. Anybody have any read on his defense, by the way? Because they don't upgrade defense every update, because it would be nuts. There's way too much inconsistency with the defensive numbers. You need a firmer sample, and to be honest, a full year isn't even a super firm sample defensively. But when somebody makes a stark change, especially to the positive, they're open to updating that, when we make them aware of it. So, start keeping an eye on those. If you're seeing some guys that have made big changes that don't align with their stats, let me know. I'll investigate. I'll put them on the list, and we'll get it updated, because, I think that they're open to that. They just don't really have the bandwidth to be checking defense all the time. I can only imagine, with the time I put into running my numbers, just as a hobby, what they're doing when it's for real. So to add defense to that, plus they have to do downgrades. I don't even do downgrades. So I know they have more of like a team. I think a couple people are doing it, but still. So that's why they don't check defense all the time. So if you start to see guys, let me know. But also, if I see my Sire in my chat, his outs above average is 5th percentile. So cancel that for Haniger specifically, but it can be an avenue for other guys, but not for our boy Mitch. But I still think he's going to get there, and I think it's going to be on the back of his power, because it's been incredible. Now, the 79.5 that I did have is Tyler O'Neill, and that owes more to the fact that he's played 5 games since than anything else, because he went on the IL. So that makes him a real tough one. That's basically just trying to give you all an indication that I think he has a good chance at gold, especially if he's hot when he comes back. It depends, obviously, how healthy he's feeling, because he lives on a wire. Like, I actually could project him that I see him as somebody who will go gold and then lose it and then maybe regain it again. Like that's the kind of volatility that his skill set breeds. I'm trying to look up his injury because I forgot what it was. Finger could be activated later this week. Okay, that's good. Nothing in like his lower half that's going to affect him, running wise or defensively or with his power. Finger, it can be bad. I'm not minimizing that, but there's obviously a hierarchy of where you want injuries to be, and we're going to put the finger pretty low in terms of a major concern. If he can get back to doing what he's been doing, I think we can see some gold from him soon. It could even be this week, but he did only add 5 games to his bottom line there, not a whole lot for them to go off of. And the thing of it is, I'm looking right now, it's still going to be tough. And this is why he's a 79.5, because he's so platooned up. Like, he's hitting 188, 235, 313 against lefties. He doesn't have a clue with the platoon advantage. Now, that's 17 plate appearances. So he has like a 2-for-3 game with a homer and a double against a lefty. That flips that shit on its head. And that's the vagaries of small samples right now. But that's also why he's more of a 79.5, because I don't know that his righty numbers alone can get him there. He's hitting 262, 300, 571. So you like the 300, the 300 ISO that he has against righties. That's huge, 309 to be exact. And the fact that the batting average is 262, that could actually use a little bit of love. A 262 is a much better average today than it's been ever, really, because batting average is so down right now that 262 probably deserves something closer to a low 60s mark, like a 61, 62. And then the power, I think that has to go into the high 80s against righties. Is that going to be enough? I don't know. It depends, because if they do upgrade him there, they're probably going to hit him a little bit on that batting average against lefties, even though it's only 17 plate appearances. He's hitting 188. He's 3 for 16 with a walk. I think they might still hit him there. So he's a coin flip. You can get in now very cheaply. I do still think that when he comes back, hopefully it's this week, he has the skills to hit gold. He could be a roller coaster, though, okay? So if you don't have the stomach for guys that can fucking go 0 for 24 at the drop of a hat, then don't invest in him, because he could come off the IL, the finger's bothering him, and he does that. He goes 0 for 24 with 17 strikeouts, and it's like, oh shit, we're back at square one. But either way, he's 79, so he's only a point away. He's got dynamic power, dynamic speed. He's got all the skills. They're starting to come together. Keep a very close eye on Tyler O'Neill. This one's probably 79.5, if not a full-out 80 after tonight, because Aaron Savali went out and shoved against the Tigers. Now, I know that that's not a huge achievement, but I don't think that they take in opponent to anything. They're looking at the numbers, okay? You know, and we face a bevy of opponents in the MLB The Show community too, and sometimes we face Tigers-esque teams. I fancy myself one such team. So when you dice me up, you just beat the Tigers. So like, don't brag about it, okay? It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, Savali did cut them up tonight. I'm pulling up the box score right now. Didn't get a ton of strikeouts, but we don't need a ton. We just need to justify raising that 50 mark right now, because that's ugly. That's holding us back. But it's also beautiful in that it takes so little to get them to gold. And you look right there that there's so much room to move in that K per 9 that it's not going to take a ton. He had 6 strikeouts in 8 innings. So now he has 53 in 68 innings. That's a 7.0. I don't know. We might get like 2-3 points. I don't think we're getting a ton there. I don't think we're getting the 5 that we see right here. But you see, 5 in hit and 5 in K would get him to an 80. Okay, well, let's say we get more like 2 or 3 in the Ks. Can the hits go even lower? Let's take a look at what his hit line is right now. We got to do a little calculation because they don't have the updated. All right, it's 6.8, which is awesome. Let me see where he is in the league right now, if you'll bear with me a moment, because I think he's doing really well with his hit line, and that could be our ticket. If that can get into the mid 80s, I think that's what it would take. All right, sort by. This is failing me. Oh, you know what? This is a custom leaderboard. Way to pull up a custom leaderboard. I'm an absolute moron, y'all. And you understand that, and you're still here, and I appreciate you for that, so don't worry. I've now found a non-custom board, so I don't have to worry about every damn pitcher being in there. Or not being in there, as it were. Dude, Max Scherzer has a 3.8 hit 9 so far this year. I did not realize he was decimating fools at that clip. All right, so Savales ranks 15th in the league coming into tonight, which actually he kept it the exact same. It was 6.75 coming into tonight, and based on the 6 hits and 8 innings, he keeps it at 6.75 on the button, and so that puts him right there at 15th. I say the 15th best hits per 9 deserves a little bit more than a 77, Ramon, if that is your name. No, it is. I think I'm pretty sure it is. Anyway, I hate that he had that 9.9 hits per 9 last year, because I think that was a fluke. And I think he got shellacked by Pittsburgh to end his year. Full season, he'd have outrun that ugly start. He'd have really finished with like a really solid hits 9, and we'd probably already be at gold with Savali. Instead, we got work to do. I'm still going to say 79.5. I'm not going to quite put him at an 80 this week, but just stay invested, folks. You can still get in right now. Not a ton. If you're buying at 650 up to 700, but he's going to get gold this year. I feel pretty confident that he's a really good pitcher, and he does have, it's not just the Ks that he needs. That's obviously our easiest way to get there, but stifling walks in a great way, continuing to stifle hits the way he does. There's still some points to get there that he could really change. He's down to a 2.3 walks per 9 as well. So maybe that goes up a little bit. We're not that far away. So 79.5 for Savale. He's right there. Hold for gold, even if he doesn't get it this week. All right, next up is a Pittsburgh catcher. Who could it be? It is Michael Perez. He's going up 30 points to a 96, and this is long. Okay, stupid joke. Jacob Stallings. I've only got him +1 though, y'all. I know he's been a hot gold pick, and you can see there he's priced around Savali, so that's not bad. That's still allowing a little wiggle room to get in, but there are expectations out there. I just don't quite see it yet. Now, he doesn't have to do that much hitting wise to get there, because his defense is so excellent, and that's what makes some of these catchers fun, because that like they have a run where they hit 270 with a few homers for a while, and all of a sudden they're knocking on the door of gold. Christian Vasquez, I'm looking at you. So yeah, since the last update, he did do really, really well against lefties, which I think is probably why people are excited. He hit 300 with a 1264 OPS, but it is still 11 plate appearances, so it's not like they can just like lose their minds on an update for him. And if you're going to look at the 1264 OPS against lefties, you can't just ignore the 579 against righties and the fact that they're probably going to have to hit him there. And can he get enough against lefties to offset some hit against righties? So let's look at his full season real quick too. And then we see a reverse of that, where he's hitting 200 against lefties, but 264 against righties. So he's in the midst of turning it around against lefties while losing it against righties. Very, very enigmatic here. But his power has come against lefties. That is where he is going to get an upgrade. I've got him up to a 79. We'll see. Obviously, stay invested if you've got him. I'm not telling anybody to jump off here, because it really isn't going to take much to get him there. I do think he does get to gold. If not this week, then soon. He's definitely a hold for gold. Solid hitter. And that's all he needs to be, because that defense is so premium. All right, back to the Rays with Joseph Wendell. Oh, God, the fly just went on my hat. What am I, Mike Pence? Get out of here. Unbelievable. What am making a mockery of this broadcast. Joey Wendell, man. Okay, chill out with the home runs. Hitting a grand slam yesterday like you're not Joey Wendell. I don't know what that means. He can't hit a grand slam? What? That's stupid. Stupid joke. But he's playing really well, and I think he's got an opportunity to go to gold this year. I got him at 79 right now, because he is playing right into his platoon, where he's not doing anything against lefties, and he's actually crushing righties. So he's going to get a power boost against righties for the 3 homers, 1 triple, and 4 doubles that he's had just since the last roster update. So that 54 has to go up quite a bit. Now, if he gets like a 12-point boost, is that enough to get him to gold? I don't know. Bottom line is, if you like Joey Wendell, get in now. Don't wait to see what happens this week and the price goes up to 800 and you can't get in. I think he's a good enough hitter to get here at some point this year. Let me take a look at his composite numbers. He is only hitting 250 with a 708 OPS against lefties since the last update, and 194 with a 553 on the season. So those numbers are going to stay shitty for now. But 348, 398, 634 against righties, that's excellent. 6 homers, a triple, 12 doubles. That power against righties is going to be the key. Can he get there? I think he gets to the 79 at least this week. But shit, I don't have any of him. I mean, are these even going to go through? I doubt it. But I got to try. I got to try to get something. Oh, let my Joey Wendells go through. Yeah. I'm loaded on Joey Wendell. Anyway, I backed out. First time. That's not bad. All right, this guy's on the IL right now with a thigh abscess. Gross. Put a picture on Twitter, though. Let's at least see it. But also disgusting. But definitely show it. Nasty. But I definitely want to see it. Michael Pineda. I don't know that he's going to quite get there, though, to the gold just yet. So you need him to come back. And, knowing him, he's going to be smart about this. He's going to come back a little bit before the abscess is completely fixed. And he's going to use that to doctor the ball. And then we're going to see that strikeout rate go through the roof. Okay? So keep an eye out for that. When you see his spin rate go up, just know that it's abscess goop. And it's time for diamond hands on Michael Pineda. But no, his strikeout rate should go up. 55. He has a 9.1. Which, the funny thing is, 9.1 is not that great for a starter right now. Like, it's good, but that's kind of like where you need to be. But it's still better than a 55. I think it should be something like a 62 to 65 range. He was at 8.4 last year, 8.6 the year before that. I thought they came in kind of light, so I think they got a little making up to do. Get him into the low to mid 60s. That should get him to at least a 79. The problem is... actually, no, that's not a problem at all. Sorry, I was misreading. No, his hits per 9 could maybe get a little love, too. He's right there. He's definitely somebody that is super cheap right now, so you might as well get in case I'm short on this and they give a lot of love to his hits 9. I was looking at his total season, though. Let me see what he's been doing since the last update. I don't remember. Oh, he only had the one start because of the freaking abscess. So he went 5 1/3, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, 2 homers. It wasn't a great start, but it certainly wasn't bad. I don't know. I think that's why I don't think he gets it this week, though, because he only added 1 start and it wasn't that great. So I think 79, they set him up so that when he comes back, they can be kind of like, okay, here we go. Starting from here, 3-4 good starts, we'll get you to gold type of deal. So that's where I would be with him as far as investing in Michael Pineda. Get in now because it's super cheap, but be patient because it's probably not coming this week. Go out to Oakland again. Told you they're on fire right now. Chris Bassett, train's kind of left the station. You can get on in the caboose there and get a few hundred per. I only got him getting the 1 point this week, though. Excuse me. I think a lot of people have him ready for gold. I've only got him with the 1, and I do like him as a hold for gold. I'll show you that I've got a pretty solid investment in him. I think. Yeah, 41. That's one of my bigger ones. So I'm in on this train for sure. I just don't think we're getting it this week yet. Can you make a case for it? Absolutely, because the K rate has been bumping this year. 9.6 for him is huge. It's a big spike. They could really push that if they wanted to. His walk rate, I think, is light as it is. I feel like mid 70s. For somebody who was at 2.2 this year, 2.4 last year, and 2.9 the year before. Like, he's showing a trend of improving his control. I think we can give him some credit for that, push him into like the high 70s, but I don't know. So we'll see. If they do both of those things, then all of a sudden gold looks really good for this week. Either way, I'm in now. You can still get in. If it doesn't happen, 1 billion% buy the dip, because he's been pitching very well now for a few years. He's kind of straddled that silver gold line. I don't think he's ever hit gold, but he's definitely been in our crosshairs a few times of like he could definitely get there, but then something happens. He has like that mediocre start and they don't give it to him, and then kind of start the cycle over again. But I like Bassett to invest in for sure. All right, staying in the West, we thought maybe Kiner Falefa could get there last time. He got nothing, which was a bit of a surprise to me. I thought that he would at least get to 79, set up the 80 for this time around. So we're still kind of looking at the similar performance to what we've been seeing all year, but it's starting to dwindle a little bit. And he's going to need another hot streak, I think, to get all the way there. But 338 average against righties, only 190 against lefties, though. So you see how balanced he is here. I think he's going to lose some of that balance, but it's still going to result, I believe, in a 79 right now. So I would still just hold. I would not, if you're not in already, I would not get in. Okay, I'm going to say that. Just because I'm nervous about the platoon split, and I don't know that the power is real either. Now, if you listen to my podcast or in the baseball podcast sphere, you know that I was loudly anti-Kiner Falefa on a podcast, talking about him and saying that, like, I don't care that he has catcher eligibility at Yahoo. He's not very good, this, that, and the other. And that is foolish, because what he's doing, even if he just did what he did last year, which was 280, 329, 370, with 3 homers and 8 steals extrapolated for the full season, that would be amazing at catcher. Like, just amazing. So it was foolish to do that. I was diving into the meme and everything, and I'm still owning that. Every time he goes on a cold streak, I roast them, and then every time he hits a home run, my mentions are filled getting Isaiah Kiner Falefa updates. So it's going to be one of those things all year. I still am not believing him as like a power source, though. And so for our purposes here of trying to get to gold, I still think it's a little dubious, because now he's down to a 145 ISO. I don't know the last time he hit a homer. And the reason I brought up that thing about the podcast, I don't want this to be anyone thinking like, oh, he's just saying that because he was against him to start the season and he's trying to save face or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just straw manning, and I'm not trying to do that. But I'm just saying I don't want it to look like that at all. There's no like bias here. I actually want him to keep doing well, because I love the back and forth of getting roasted every time he crushes it. Plus, I have 30 of them, so I want those to hit. So he hasn't hit a homer in 20 games, okay? So I think that was a power flurry as opposed to a new level of power for him. Now, he is still hitting 311 in that time, so that's good. I was going to make a 311 joke and say, like, amber is the color of his energy, but then I would have had to shut down my channel. And the fact that I even told you guys that I was going to do that, I should probably still consider shutting it all down. And I sincerely apologize. I've made it terrible and continue lapse in judgment. I hope you can forgive me. Anyway, can he get there on the strength of his average? Not if he continues to hit sub 200 against lefties. That's enough time on Isaiah Kiner Falefa. I've mentioned how we do this tango with the DH guys every year. This is not one of those DH guys, but this is a guy we've been tangoing with for a few years now about will he, won't he get to gold. And I don't know if it's Diego Castillo's time yet. And even if he does, he'll get shit on by Inside Edge every day, and he'll still play like a common even when he's a gold. But I do think it's high time he gets to 79 and starts knocking on the door again. He's back, and he looks great. He had a bumpy year last year. The only thing he did well was limit hits, which is a good thing to do. So bumpy in his skills, by the way. He had a 166 ERA. So for anyone's like, what the hell are you talking about, bumpy? It was pretty lucky, though. He had a 453 FIP. His core skills weren't that strong outside of the hit suppression. But when you don't allow hits, your sequencing can work out really well. So you walk the bases loaded and then get 3 straight strikeouts. Well, that was a very treacherous inning, but you did the deed, and you got a 166 ERA. Anyway, he's back to the guy that we'd been seeing in previous years that we really thought could get to gold eventually. Career high 12.5 strikeout rate, 2.9 walk rate, ties his career best, and a 6.8 hits per 9, which is actually up from last year, but it's still very good. It's third best of his careers out of 4 seasons. So he's usually better than that, but 6.8 is not bad. Like, he's not going to get downgraded for that. So I think the strikeout and walk rates are at least going to get him to a 79, and then we're going to kind of see what he does here over the next, I'd say, well, I mean, at least 2 weeks, obviously, because that's when the next update will be. Hopefully he can get a good run there, because it's always difficult with relievers, because in the 2 week span, they could pitch so little, and one bad outing can ruin the whole thing. So we'll keep a close eye on him too, and we'll see if there is that time where like one bad outing is making his numbers look worse than they should. We'll point that out. And sometimes, understanding how a game log worked for a guy can help you understand that, like, okay, don't just look at the ERA and say, oh, he's been this, or the whip and be like, he's been this. Well, if it's one bad outing surrounded by 15 great ones, maybe still worth the upgrade. So anyway, now's the time to get in. Super, super cheap. I do have him as a, pretty high hold for gold at this point. We'll stay here with look at his teammate, who I already had on the list going to 78 tonight, and then he goes out and drops 13 punchies. Do I have that right? Let me pull that up here. I believe Rich Hill dropped 13 strikeouts on the Royals. Wow. And they didn't even win. 2-1 game. Wow. Brad Keller. So anyway, 8 innings, 6 hits, 0 walks, 13 punchies. We know when he gets in a groove, he can be great. He's been a gold before. He's kind of lived between 75 and 81 and just these last few years, because when he's off, when just a little bit is off, he's a nightmare. Probably because he's a super hothead, and so he just like melts down and lets everything get to him, stuff like that. But then when he's dialed in, he's an absolute G, even though he's like 92 years old, man. He's been awesome. Down to a 3.63 ERA. That strikeout rate is definitely going way up. So I still don't think he's going to get the 4 points to go to gold here, but he might actually get to 79 now instead of 78, based on tonight's outing, sliding in under the wire for the roster update. So put him at a 79 and get in now, because once he goes to 79, you know that price is going to start to go upward. I'm going to buy a few off the top. Hate to do it. It's one of the downsides when I'm streaming it, though. I can't just put in 20 orders in the middle of a video, So pay a little tax. It's okay. It's still very cheap to get in right now if he does indeed push gold in the next month. Let's stay in the East and talk Robbie Ray. So I just wrote Robbie Ray up over at Fangraphs. I got him as a 78, by the way, so I got 2 points right now. He's had such a weird season with his stat profile. For the first time ever, he's not walking anybody. And that is, we know that that's not Robbie Ray. He is usually a walk master. I feel like I could take a walk against him, right? You just go up there and literally just hold the bat. Just be a matter of getting out of the way if he threw the ball at me, which my old reactions, I'd probably get domed. But he has a 1.9 walk rate, so that's going to go up. They got to give some love to that, even though it's still new. It's 47 innings. There's a lot behind it. Like, it is well supported in his skills. So I think we're going to see a substantial gain there. His strikeout rate is still very good. I don't know if it's going to go up, because it's actually down a strikeout from last year, so it'd probably just stay where it's at. And then his hit 9 is improved drastically from last year. But it was already pretty good at 74, so it might only go up a few points. Bottom line is, I think we get 78, 79. Again, I have him for 78, but I think we're going to come up just short of gold. And then this next couple weeks is going to be a proving ground for him in that newfound walk rate. And even though they don't hit homer per 9 doesn't really affect us in Diamond Dynasty, he does still have a home run issue. And the reason that could affect us is because he could start to implode and have bad numbers, and then he's not on the upgrade radar, right? Like, even if you have a good strikeout and walk rate, if you have like an 8 ERA for like a 5-start run, it's hard to be like, hey, we moved him to gold because his underlying numbers say that, he's good. It's like, sure, if the underlying skills need upgrade, do it, of course. Like, don't hold someone back, because the results will eventually catch up. But it is hard in the week that they suck, and I do worry about a little regression coming from Ray if he does not tame that home run issue, which he's never been able to do. So I don't know. And this, by the way, is a great example of the difference between command and control. You sometimes hear those words used interchangeably, but they are different. Control is just the ability to put the ball in the zone and not walk guys. And I don't want to say it flippantly like it's super easy. It is difficult to do, but that is it's an easier skill than command, because command is putting the ball simply where you want, in or out of the zone. Commanding your pitches to be where you need them to be, not just in the zone and let the chips fall. That's kind of where Robbie Ray is right now. He's pounding fastballs in the zone, and he's getting a lot of success with them, but when he misses, it's Pound Town, and it's home run city. Like, he's allowing 2.6 homers per nine. That's insane. So anyway, few point boost, but sit tight on like heavily investing for gold here. It's super cheap, so you can get in now if you want, but like understand that it's a big risk. This one isn't a big risk though, and that's why the market is pretty high for a 75. Still very investable, but you got to get in on Trevor Rogers at this point, because now he's really going to be in the sights for gold. I think he gets a 3-point boost this week up to a 78. He's just continued to deal. He might be the best pitcher on that team, and that's with Sandy Alcantara, Pablo Lopez pitching their asses off as well. So it's wild what they've got going on there. And Sixto hasn't even pitched yet. So I think T-Raj, again, is going to be knocking on the door for maybe pre-All-Star break, because we're going to get this update. Let me just do a little quick maths. Then we'll get June 11th, June 25th, and July 9th. What week is the All-Star game? Is it the 6th or the 13th? But I think Rogers could actually be looking at gold. Well, he could be looking as early as the June 11th, to be honest. If he goes out, throws another 3 great starts between this update and the next, I think he'd already be pushing, assuming he gets to 78, 79 this week. But if not, then I do think end of June it's damn likely the way he's pitching. He's just pitching undeniably so well right now. The walk rate is still a little high, but it's at 3.5. So I don't think the BB9 has to go down. It could even maybe go up. But 3.5 at 52, I'm fine with that. I think it should just hold. But I think the strikeout rate still needs to go up. I still think they're kind of like testing to see if he is a legit guy. But he's at 11.6 now for his career. That's 85 innings. Still a small sample, but I think we pushed that up into the mid-70s. The hit rate is at 6.0 this year, 7.4 for his career. I think that goes up into the high 70s, and then we're seeing where we're at. And then if he can stop walking guys. Now, the thing of it is, I don't mind that he walks guys that much from a real life standpoint, because he does it with purpose. Not all the time. I'm not trying to say like every walk that he does, he was in full control, but he's not afraid to throw his pitches in the counts that he wants to. And if that's like a 3-2 slider, so be it. It's going to be a nasty slider that he's trying to get a swing and miss on instead of a called strike. He's going to go for it. He's not afraid to walk somebody, deal with the next guy. I talk about this concept a lot, and I think it's really interesting to watch, because not all walk rates are created equally. Sometimes a guy has no idea what he's doing. Other times there is purpose behind maybe relenting and letting somebody get a walk because you'd rather not give in with a shitty pitch. I'm looking at something here real quick while I'm talking about this. Yeah, he's got a 106 batting average against and 416 OPS against with runners in scoring position. Now, I don't know how much the clutch, the PCLT, improves the overall, but that should be in the 80s. Like, that's bananas. So if we can get that boosted, that would also just make him more playable from like an events BR standpoint. Not that that's our main concern, but if it helps the overall, we definitely want it. So Trevor Rogers, again, one of my highest holds for golds. I've got 43 of them. That's a pretty big investment for me. I think he's going to get there this year at some point. I fully believe in what he's doing. All right, let's jump over to shortstop real quick. And talk about these Giants, man. These Giants are a problem. They're up 6-0 tonight right now watching. And Brandon Crawford has been a monster, dude. Like, what is going on? I think he's going to get a couple point upgrade and start to put himself on the gold radar. And if he continues to hit with this kind of power, then damn it, he's going to get gold this year, which is nuts, man. We talked about how nuts it is to say that Posey is very much in line for diamond this year. And we saw Longoria hit a huge home run. I think he's having a pretty good season overall, too. It was his 6th homer. But yeah, they're insane. Anyway, B. Craw. Now, tough part about going gold is he's got a heavy platoon. 1,001 OPS against righties, 547 against lefties. So that 37.54 against lefties, that's not getting helped at all. If anything, that shit might go down even more. But 302, 396, 604 against righties, that's in line for fat upgrade, especially to that power. 8 of the 11 homers have come against have come against righties. 3 have come against lefties. So actually, I said the lefty numbers aren't getting any love. I think the contact should go down to like 28, but then the power could go up into the 60s, because don't sleep on the fact that he's got a nice little 250 ISO despite the 139 average, because he only has 5 hits, but 3 have gone for home runs. So I think maybe actually a little power against lefties. It'll be offset by contact, but hey, maybe not. Maybe he gets a bigger gain, so it actually helps. But yeah, the numbers against righties, I think he goes up to a 77, and then we'll kind of see where this goes from here. I would not heavily invest in him as a hold for gold. I'm a little dubious of this. It's been a fun ride, but even if he gets the upgrade I think he does this week, he's still 3 points away and ostensibly doing nothing against lefties outside of those 3 home runs. So it would be an uphill climb there to get him, even if he gets to 78 this week and only needs 2 points. All right, let's talk about this guy who just will not stop hitting. Adolis Garcia, absolute monster. Got himself a hot tops now. Well, this is insane. I'm definitely going to sell at 800. That's okay. I mean, I know I could have put in an order for cheaper, but you know what? That person wanted it for 800. I wanted to oblige them. Yeah, this price is too high, so that's why I'm selling these here. Because he's going to go silver, and I guess people are thinking like he's an absolute hold for gold, and I just don't know that he is. And I will say that this inside edge is very telling, that he needs plus 15s just to get 2 points. And I grant you that he is decimating the ball, which is why I have him for a healthy 3-point upgrade up to a 77. But are we really going to gold anytime soon? I don't know, y'all. I am still very nervous about this profile. In fact, got a question on a fantasy question on Twitter the other day, and the person put A. Garcia. Oh, my dog's tail is wagging up against the door, and I was like, what is that noise? Sorry. And somebody put A. Garcia, and there was a question of whether it was Adolis or Avisail. And I suggested that I would take either in the deal in question, but also that I think Avisail outperforms Adolis the rest of the way. And I hate to, be a fun fighter against one of the fun breakouts, 28-year-old who was DFA'd by the team he's on earlier this year to make room for Mike Foltynewicz. Is hitting 291, 329, 603. But it's a 31% homer to fly ball rate, which is huge. 27% strikeout, 5% walk. He's a free swinger. That's just going to create ups and downs. When you strike out that much, when you have that much swing and miss, and you don't get on base via some extra walks, that just makes your valleys really low. You can go into those slumps where it's just what I was saying earlier about like Tyler O'Neill, like 0 for 24. I said 17 strikeouts. Like that's excessive, but you know what I mean? Like 0 for 25 and 12 strikeouts. Damn near 50% strikeout rate in a weak sample. So I still am worried about him long term. That's why I'm not necessarily holding for gold here. But you can't deny what he's doing. Oh my God, he hit another homer tonight. I'm this close to just being like, you know what? diamond hands Adolis. Like, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. I didn't even know that he hit his 15th tonight. Okay, well, I mean, he's going to go up to a high silver. I said 77. Maybe now it's 78. I think he's hit 2 homers, maybe even 3 since I did my first run. Yeah, I'll say 78. Okay, I'm gonna move him up here to a 78. And I'd still take a Avisail Garcia. That's because I'm a big Avisail Garcia fan. But I'm going to say that if you are holding for gold, I don't hate it. With this kind of obscene power that he's doing, he could just will himself there. Like, because here's the thing too. When, like, he's good. Like, I'm not trying to shit on him when I say that his cold streaks could be really bad because he swings and misses a lot. Like, you can be a very good player who strikes out a lot like that. Sometimes we get a little too much on the strikeout equals bad thing. And I try to check myself on that especially and just be like, don't dismiss somebody because they strike out a lot and they don't walk. Like, yes, that does decrease their margin for error. But if they're just a badass player, then they're going to be fine. Javi Baez, his career is defined by that. And I know he struggled last year, but he's back this year. Am I right? I think he's been killing it this year. Sorry for the tangent. Oh, not killing it, but he's been back. Like, he's good again. He's not what he was last year. And last year was because of the video stuff, he said. And we should have just believed him because he's turned out to get back on track. Same with JD Martinez. Anyway, bottom line with Adolis, he's just obliterating the ball too much right now. So I'm gonna back off a little bit on my negativity. I'd still take Avisail Garcia over him the rest of the way in fantasy, but consider that more of an Avisail Garcia endorsement than an Adolis Garcia diss. Okay? Let's stay in Texas for 2 more guys because they're adding some new silvers, folks. Next up is right above him here, Ian Kennedy. Having another good season for them. The fly just touched me. And now I believe that's assault. So I will be calling my lawyer after this. You are going to jail. Wherever you are. Just so you know, okay? Fly around, do your thing, I guess. But we'll see who's laughing when you're in prison. Anyway, Ian Kennedy is dominating this year. 10.7 strikeouts. 1.9 walks and 6.5 hits, which, by the way, he already has a nice little balance, hits, Ks, and walks. I just think they all go up a bit. They all go up like 6-7 points. He's just been awesome. I love that they keep the stamina high too. A little extra left over from when he was a closer. He might not be bad in BR, especially as like a 77. I'll have to give him a try. I don't know. I used to like that Goldie and Kennedy Arizona Diamondbacks that they would put out. But I got him going 76 this week. 76, 77. So you can still get in like really cheap right now. It just looks so different when with Adolis right there as a bronze being that expensive. It makes Kennedy look especially cheap even though he's just kind of a normal bronze price. Excuse me. And then Kyle Gibson. I know he just went on the IL. But again, an IL trip is not going to cost you an upgrade for performance that you've already done. Obviously, it hinders you for the future. But yeah, groin strain, this sucks. Hopefully it's nothing too bad because he's been pitching pretty well this year. And he definitely deserves a nice upgrade. I think he gets up to a 75. I got him up to a 75 this week. And then we'll see what happens with this injury and kind of go from there. This one could be a nice hold for gold. You might want to get in on this Austin Riley train because I got him actually going to silver, 72 to 75. He's been killing it this year. Now, he's changed up his approach a little bit to where he's actually not hitting for as much power. Like, it's still there. He's got good power, but he's not selling out as much, and you're seeing an increase in the batting average and more walks as well. So he's hitting 320, 414, 549. So still a 229 ISO. Like I said, power's still good. But I think a lot of people have thought, okay, a breakout from him is going to include like a 250 ISO. Okay, well, he's giving back a little bit of that power in favor of some contact. That helps us in the in both the fantasy market of fantasy baseball and our fantasy market here of Diamond Dynasty, because that can foster some big upgrades in his contact rate. He's hitting 327 against righties, so I think he gets a little love there, and 300 against lefties. Now beware that 300 has come with a 500 BABIP in his 43 plate appearances against lefties, meaning it's a little suspect. That said, they can still give him a little love and bump it up from a 44. In addition, I think the power against righties is going to go up. And boom, we got ourselves a silver with somebody who we can keep an eye on for potential gold. Let's go out to Detroit for a couple. That's right. Elite Tigers getting some upgrades. Another starter turned closer. Michael Fulmer has really taken to his role. Unfortunately, gave up a walk-off the other day to Carlos Santana. It wasn't even that bad of a pitch. Santana just obliterated it for a 2-run shot. But he has been doing really well. 8.5 strikeouts, 2.3 walks, 8.0 hits per 9. But you see here, plus 6s gets him to 75. And I got him getting right up to 75 as well. So I didn't even know that the inside edge showed how light it was. But he doesn't even need that much. Now, oh, you know what? I just forgot. This might be compromised. Because they're going to move him to CP and cut his stamina a bit. I think he'll probably still have Ian Kennedy-like stamina because he's already started a few times this year. Like, he's still pitching multi-inning stuff, but now he's kind of in the closer's role. Dang it, this is actually going to be tough to get to silver because you lose points going starter to closer. So it's not guaranteed now. I would do more of, I don't usually do this, but it'd be more of like a 74.5 to where it's a little bit more of a toss-up just because of the hit of going to CP. So just keep that in mind if you're waiting on Fulmer. I still think he gets to silver at some point this year, though. He's pitching really well. I think he's really taking kindly to the ninth inning role. Another silver that we're going to get, I think, is Robbie Grossman, who's just been really good this year. And I wonder if he might get a little love for all the steals that he's doing. He was finally caught. He's 7 for 8 on the bases this year. Looking really nice. He was 8 for 9 last year. I think his steal rating should already be up. Now, I don't know if the steal rating has a huge impact on your overall, but anything should help. So I think that can definitely go up. And then his hitting has just been pretty good this year overall. So I think a little love to his work against lefties in particular. And then maybe a little bit of power against righties, but no contact. He's hitting only 237 against them. Hopefully they don't downgrade him. I think 50 is fine right now because 237, again, not great, but not as awful as we normally think just because batting averages are down so much. So I do think Grossman has enough juice to get there, though, especially if they give his steal rating some love. This is a little out of order, but since we're on Detroit, let me get these last two that the Tigers have as well. Big week for the Tigers. I got Casey Mize going up to a 73. He's been pitching very well. Now, he still is not a strikeout guy. Again, the statistical comp that I give him is peak Jordan Zimmerman. I think that's what he's striving toward. Now, that doesn't mean that he can't be very good. Don't forget, peak Jordan Zimmerman was a G. I know we think about the end of his career and his Detroit time and like, that seems scary, but I think that would be a good result if he can do that. Ideally, avoid the another Tommy John because he's already had one, and Jordan Zimmerman had I think 2 in his career as a major leaguer, so that'd be a good thing to avoid. But watching Mize has been fun. If you're not a Tigers fan, but you like to watch interesting pitching prospects, give Mize a watch. You can really start to see him coming into his own and learning what his stuff can do and how to best use it. And it's not translating into a ton of strikeouts, like I said, but it is translating into a lot of deep outings. He's gone at least 6 in each of his last 5, including a 7 2/3 outing in Seattle. That was really nice. And then a 6 1/3 in KC this weekend. That went well too. And then the last Tiger to get updated, this is just a bronze to bronze move, but Harold Castro's been out of his mind, dude. He's absolutely killing the ball. So I got him 67 up to a 70. Let me get you some numbers on old Castro here. Not the Castro that Tigers fans thought would be doing really well this year. Willie had a lot of expectations, and he is not meeting them. Meanwhile, Harold hitting 351 right now with a 392 OBP and a 365 slug. So he's a singles hitter through and through. He has 26 hits, 1 double. So do not expect those power numbers to go up. But the contact, baby, he hit 347 last year, 291 the year before that. My man's been out here collecting base hits. I mean, you see he has an 87 contact against righties. So it's not like they don't know. But what they don't know, dang it, I misread him. I thought he was hitting against lefties. I had it all set up to say, so what they don't know is that he's also hitting against lefties. No, he's not. He's only hitting 222. I misread his numbers earlier because I have a small brain, and that's the problem. He's a platoon guy. That's the problem. He's a left-handed hitter. He's hitting just 222. He's 2 for 9. Like, he doesn't play against them. Does he have enough heat to push himself up to silver against righties? I don't think so. So I think the train kind of stops in the low 70s, but I still think he's going to get a nice healthy upgrade because of what he's doing against righties. 369 is very nice. And then I wanted to look at one other thing. That's the most Tiger upgrades I think I've ever done since I've ever done this. Because I don't think I did this in 15, which was the last time they were like halfway decent, right? So I don't think I ever did it when the Tigers were awesome. Oh, 16 they were pretty good, 86 and 75, but still. Anyway, Harold Castro, what was his strikeout rate? I wanted to see if maybe some vision or discipline will have. No discipline, maybe a little vision. He has cut his strikeout rate, but not a lot. So it's the contact against righties. He's going to go up to like a 70. Not a whole lot to see there. All right, let's go to Colorado. Talk about a couple guys they got cooking, including the guy who got Topps Now card, Josh Fuentes. Where is he? Josh Fuentes got him going up to a 74. He's just been hitting, you know. He looks like Nolan Arenado so much it's ridiculous. I know they're cousins. It's like so clear that they're related, but it is nuts to replace a guy with his cousin, and then he looks that much like his cousin. So I don't know. Could he get the silver? Is kind of the question here. I don't know. He's a reverse or a short side platoon guy, meaning he hits lefties better, and there just aren't as many lefties, so you don't play as much. And if you can't hit righties, you're just losing a ton of time. So no, I think the 74 here, they'd have to finagle it to get him to a 75. Maybe his arm is better than they thought. That would, or something like that. What's his vision and what are his strikeout and walks looking like? I could take a look at that maybe. Strikeout rate is 23. Walk rate is 3. Oh, gosh. Yeah, sorry, it's just not there. But anyway, he's going to get a couple points. So is Jonathan Daza. This is a bit Harold Castroian. Is that's a word, right? Yeah. I think that's definitely a word. But yeah, he's just a singles hitter, collected a bunch of hits. He's hitting 311. Oh, that was another chance to make the Amber joke. I should have taken it that time. Now I regret it. First time, I think I saved myself, but now I think it's come around. It's been marinating in y'all's brains, and it would have hit. Missed opportunity. Charlotte, find me somebody with a 311 stat. Yeah, he's hitting 394 against lefties, 274 against righties. So the versus lefty is definitely going to go up. The versus righty could go up a little bit. Again, 274. That's not bad. Anyway, nothing crazy. As far as silver goes, I don't really see it right now. I think he would get it next upgrade. I only got him going up to a 74. All right, next up is Yusei Kikuchi, and I say, no, I got nothing. I couldn't finish it. Couldn't complete the joke. Didn't have a punchline. A key element of a joke is a punchline, and I'm a stupid moron. Anyway, Kikuchi's finally getting going, man. People have been talking him up for a while now, right? He's got nasty stuff. Came over from Japan with some fanfare, and has flash nasty stuff like every spring training, and starts to get the chatter going. Is this the year? Is this the year? He'll have these flashes here and there of 3, 4, 5 starts in a row. Always gives in, erases the good numbers. Brought a 5.5 ERA into the 2021 season. So far, 402, not bad. And he's really streaking of late over his last 5 starts. 2.78 ERA, 36 strikeouts, 10 walks, 19 hits in 32 and a third innings. I think the strikeout rate, the hits rate are both getting big boosts. The walk rate might get a little love, but probably going to stay static. And I think we're going to see Kikuchi go up to a 73, and I do think silver is in play for him. So he is a save for silver at a very cheap price. This next guy's a save for silver as well, if he can stay healthy, but that's a huge if. I love Jordan Romano, man. When he's cooking, he's so fun to watch. But we just got to keep him healthy. I got him going up to a 73 right now. He's back. He's healthy right now. He's pitching well. Hopefully he can stick because he's a really good pitcher for them. Our boy, I talk about it every year. He's good for a run to give us a card. Now, this year they just brought us a vintage card of one of those said runs of Brad Miller. But usually he earns a Tops Now or a Player of the Month at some point during the year. And he's off to a great start this year. Looking like, hey, Henry, can you cut it out over there? Oh, I think the fly's over there. That's why they're... Yep. Actually, never mind. Continue. Please murder. But yeah, he's hitting 329, 387, 553 with 5 homers and 3 steals. Talk about from a fantasy standpoint, Brad Miller has been such a huge boon for people that picked him up off the waiver wire. Biggest factor, he's decimating lefties. 375, 444, 750. Does have a 500 BABIP, so that will come down, but they can give him some love now. I think he's got a chance to push silver. Now, he's going to have to stay hot for another couple weeks because I don't think we get it this week. I think we get to a 73 this week, and then we'll see where he goes from there. But I would love silver, Brad Miller for BR. I'll take bronze, though. I think he might come up more as a silver. Even though there are more bronze rounds, I feel like if he was a silver, he'd come up all the time. I mean, he plays everywhere but catcher. Not well, but I don't care because he crushes. God, I love Brad Miller in this game. Anyway, next up, St. Louis. Closer. Alex Reyes. I think it's time. I think it's time for a nice, healthy upgrade. There have been some questions. Why isn't he getting upgraded? He's got this ERA, or he did 0 ERA for a while. It's like, well, mainly because ERA does not factor in to what we're doing here. And his skills are a bit wonky. Even still, they're a bit wonky. But I do think it's high time to give some credence to this strikeout rate that he has at 12.2. It was at 12.4 last year. So we're not talking about a massive sample, but we do now have 45 innings of this kind of elite strikeout rate. So I think that merits at least an 8-point boost, if not 10 to 12 points on the strikeout rate. And hopefully he can start not walking. I was going to say start stopping walking guys. 6 sentence that would have been. But hopefully he can start cutting into the walks. I doubt it. That's just like his stuff's so nasty because he has no idea where it's going. But if he could just get like a little run of, I don't know, the rest of the season where he doesn't walk guys, he could go gold. But until then, I really think that silver is his cap. And we still are going to have to wait a little bit because that hit line is going to have to continue to stay minuscule and probably going to have to go up to like triple digits along with the K rate getting into the 90s to get him to silver because that BB9 is so bad and deservedly so. He has a 7.9 walks per 9, y'all, so they have to keep it shitty. And then I did Harold Castro, and I got 2 more guys. Just these are lower tier ones, different reasons to invest. A, sometimes you're getting it on the ground floor of somebody who could go silver or gold, and it's very early. B, buy them now and they get 4 or 5 point upgrades and you use them for the affinity exchanges and you got free points basically. Tyler Rogers is going to be like that. He's a 66 right now and I think he could be like a 70, 71, but that's probably it because he just doesn't strike guys out. He's kind of like our current era's, well, I think O'Day got more strikeouts, but that's the kind of guy that he is. Submariner, yeah, O'Day got strikeouts, so no, not really him. It'd be more Cishek, and even Cishek had some good strikeout seasons, so he's kind of his own guy. Oh, you know who he is? Romo. It's Sergio Romo type, because I don't think Sergio Romo had great strikeout rates even in his peak. Well, actually, no, that's not even true. Jeez, So everyone figured out how to get strikeouts but this guy. Anyway, he doesn't get strikeouts, and that's going to hold him back. I do have him for a couple points here, up to a 70. And again, for your NL West affinity exchange, a 66. I don't know what this is worth. I'm just making up points. But if his 66 is worth 233 points, 70 is worth 600 points, you're getting investment points that way. And then you don't have to go out and buy different cards to do the affinity exchanges. So that's just a secondary way of investing in the low tier guys, because they can have huge moves. If they're trying to catch up on somebody like our last guy here, they can move him up like 8 points. I got him for a 5-point boost here, but James Caprillion could absolutely go up to like a 72, just to kind of say, okay, because with prospects, they make them prove it in most cases, right? Vlad was an exception when he came in as a gold, and they actually got burned by that, unfortunately. I liked the move. I respected it. I thought it was a perfectly defensible move, but he just didn't hit immediately. But most guys come in bronze or lower, and they want to see where you're at. Well, it's only been 10 2/3, so Caprillion's not going to move up to like silver anytime soon. I got him going to 70. He's got a huge strikeout rate, 12.7. His walk rate's improved to 3.4. Hits is 6.8. That's really good. Again, 10 2/3. So we're not going crazy here. We're setting up to go crazy, though. If you guys saw his you probably have it. Oh wait, no, Dalton Jeffries. I thought he had a flashback. Did James Caprillion ever have a prospect card? Or am I tripping? Was that last year? It was last year. Okay, I'm not that crazy, right, chat? Anyway, I think he had it last year. So I was gonna say he has a prospect card, but no, that was definitely last year. But I do think Caprillion could chase down silver this year. Folks, if you guys aren't familiar with Caprillion, he was a massive prospect. Now, a little bit of that is the general Yankees hype. You get like a half grade extra being a Yankees prospect. It doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't happen, but you just get inflated as a Yankees prospect. It just happens. So there was probably a little bit of that with Caprillion, but he was, legit first rounder. They took him as a 16th pick overall. He was ranking in the top 100s. But injuries definitely got the best of him for a good while. So he's just kind of finding his footing here at 27. Now, he's probably not going to ever meet his peak, but I think he has a chance to show why he was a heralded prospect and somebody who was taken in the first round, and that could be a nice silver this year. The key, of course, is staying healthy. That's been his trouble, but don't sleep on the idea that you could be investing with a single-digit card in somebody who could get silver if you want to do it for the long haul. And why not? What are you really investing, right? It's so small to do a single-digit bid. Might as well see where it goes. He has that kind of talent. Worst case, he's not that good. You lose nothing, because he's probably going to go at least bronze this week. So anyway, that's going to do it. That was a long one there. There's those 45 players. I got 104 total on my list. It's in the Discord, twitch.tv/spore. If you sign up as a subscriber, you get access to that list every 2 weeks, plus the Hold for Gold list, where I take all the silvers and I give them a 1 to 10 rating based on their likelihood of going gold within the next 2 updates. So that's currently the May 28th and June 11th updates. And that's about it right now. And we'll see how we go on Friday. I'm actually really, really excited. Friday's going to be insane. If you want to join us at 2 p.m. Central, again, twitch.tv/spore, we'll be doing the live roster review, plus all the brand new content coming out. We have a 12-hour stream planned every other Friday this year for the roster updates. So come join us. But if you are on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you.